What's good, everybody? Hope y'all been doing well. In this video, I'm going to be taking an old classic choir sample and I'm going to be flipping it into a hard beat. And so I'll be showing y'all my entire process of just taking the raw sample to the finished product. So if you want to see all that, be sure to stick all the way to the end. And we just hit 15,000 subscribers yesterday as of filming this video. So thank you very much for that. I truly appreciate every single one of y'all's support. So thank you very much. And that's enough said. So let's jump right into the Cookup. All right. So I got my Orchestra choir sample open up here and I'm just going to play like the first 10 seconds. Most of y'all will probably recognize it off rip. What I'm gonna do is just go and find my chops real quick. And this is gonna be pretty quick because I already have an idea of what parts of the song I want to sample and how I want to chop them. First thing is I'm just gonna have the intro. So I'll just go like right here, just where it ends. Just cut it right there. And I want to go to the other famous part of this piece, which looks like this part right here. Yeah, this part. So I'm just gonna go to the beginning of this transient, like where that, I think it's a timpani, whatever the heck, that drum that's hitting. I'm just gonna listen to it until it switches it up before they go higher. Okay. All right, so see how that pitch switches there? I'm gonna cut that. And then I'm just gonna go until this one's done, which I think is just right over here. Okay, maybe a little before that. Yeah, okay, I don't want after that point. So I just want those little sections right there. These are my three chops, the intro, the first version, and the pitched up version of that. And also if you want to know how to quickly mute the clips or unmute them, you just double click the right click and hold it and then just wave it over the clip and it'll unmute it and mute it. So now what I want to do is find the tempo of this, and there's a few different ways to do it. I'm just going to use the metronome and just see how that works. All right, so I have 143 beats per minute clicked in. I don't know how accurate that is, but I guess I could always check it with a metronome. So it seems like it's pretty much on time, maybe a little bit off. So I'll cut this right here. Yeah, I think that's good. So what I'm gonna do is go over here and do the same thing for the second one. Yeah, no, this one sounds faster, a little bit faster than the last one. All right, so I don't think I'm gonna use the second half of this section or this one either, because I mean, it's kind of just the same thing repeated. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing twice. So I'm just gonna move this over here and I'm gonna go ahead and time stretch these so that they're the appropriate length. So I'm just gonna go to here to this little arrow thing or hit Shift M to enable it, and then I'm gonna scroll into the end here and move it to this. And these are 6 measures instead of 8 measure loops. So I think these are in 3/4 time instead of 4/4 time. So it might be kind of weird to chop it up, but we'll be able to work around it. I'm gonna take this and move it back here like I did with the other one. Now it should work. It's a little bit off time. I'm gonna scoot it back just a little bit more and move this forward. See what this sounds like. I mean, it's still kind of off just because human error. And I just realized that I made a mistake. For this one up here, I wanna go and hit make unique and then time stretch it, because now when I time stretch this other one, it threw off this one too. So I need to go and move this back. And if you want to be able to bypass the grid in the playlist, so like right here, you can see it's only snapping to the lines. You hold Alt and then click and drag the clip. It won't just stick to these. Like for example, if your clip's here, it'll only do that. So now going back to the intro, I don't know if I really want to time stretch it all that much because I don't think I'm going to add any drums or nothing to it. But for now, let's focus on getting these chops right and getting the right tempo and all that. First things first, I want to make this an 8-bar loop instead of a 2-bar loop. The idea that I kind of have is have like the first 4 choir hits and have that repeated every 2 measures. So kind of sounds something like this. And then just that repeated again. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna have the switch up happen every 4-bar loop, so it'll look something like this. I have this and just loop it, and then same thing for this higher pitch part. So bare bones, it'll be like this. I think this is cool, but I kind of want a different note here at the end. Perfect. Yeah, so it has like a little bit of a switch up, and so now I have like the basic 16-bar loop where I have the lower pitch part first, and then I have the higher pitch. I think I'm just gonna consolidate this into one audio clip real quick, and then so what I'm gonna do is just go to my mixer track, go to the master, arm it by making this little dot red instead of white, and then hitting Alt-R on my keyboard, go to song selection, cut remainder, start. So now we have the consolidated clip up here. I'm gonna mute this, and I'm gonna keep these just in case I wanna go back and change it. One thing I wanna do is kind of isolate each of the different parts. What I mean by that is I'm just gonna go and extract the stems. So now I have all the individual parts. I'll take this out. Yeah, so there really isn't any bass sound in this little chop that I made, so I'm just gonna delete that and bring this back up. So now we got all the stems isolated from this, and I'm gonna take all these and assign them to their own mixer track. So I'm just gonna take these 3 right here, go back to the mixer tracks and unarm the master, and I'll go to here, hit Control-Shift-L. That'll route them all to mixer tracks, and now I can kind of control them individually. The drums need to be turned down quite a bit. I'm actually gonna route the instruments and vocals into one track. So the first thing I'm gonna put down is the reverb. This is just a preset that I had on another project that I brought over. And next thing I wanna do is get an EQ and cut out some of these lows. Just roll it off a little bit, kind of subtle, so we leave a little bit of room for the 808s and all that. And I also want to add a little bit of delay just so it kind of fills the gaps, like right here where there's nothing playing. All right, so I played around with it a little bit more, and these are the final delay settings that I came up with. So with all the effects and everything, this is what our sample is starting to sound like. I think we're now ready to start playing around with the drums. So I'm gonna go to my resonance multi-kit and start grabbing some drum sounds to use. And I'm also pulling in an 808 from my upcoming multi-kit, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, let's start adding some drums. I'm actually gonna turn the delay off because I already know it's gonna annoy me every time I keep pausing it. But in the final song, I'll go back and add it. And just throw down some basic 2-step hats. And then for the snare, I think I'm just gonna go super simple and just put it down on some off beats here. Actually, I think I'm gonna make the snares even simpler. I'm not even gonna have the second half of it, so it'll look something like this. Second to last thing I wanna add is a kick, just so it adds emphasis at the beginning of each 4 bars. And now we can go down and put down the 808s, and trying to figure out the key here should be pretty simple. I'm just gonna keep changing the note until it sounds right. And honestly, I'm not liking how the pitched up version of this sounds, so I'm gonna bring it back down to the original key. And I kind of want to make a second 808 pattern for the second section. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go and duplicate my 808 and just copy over these same notes, and then I'll just throw in like a little roll here at the end. Now I'm gonna go back to the instruments and all that, bring the delay back. I'm not liking how this sounds right here with this little like empty space. I don't think this is lossless, so what I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna scrap this and I'm gonna bring back the original chops. What I'm gonna do is just get this kick from this little section of the sample. So I'm just gonna go and extract the stems, just the drums. And that should give me this by itself. And I'm gonna route this to the drums track that we have here. And what I'm gonna do is just cut off this first part. And it sounds kind of choppy right now, but I think once we put all the reverb in and all that back on it, it'll sound a lot better. So I'm actually gonna go here and cut these all a little short just so it's more cohesive. I'm gonna route all of these to the original instrument track that I had with all the effects just to sound a lot more put together. It sounds cool, but it still sounds like it's kind of missing of a melodic aspect to it. So what I want to do is go back to my resonance kit and I'm going to get a brass sound and I'm going to try to build some more depth with this. And let's just see what this sounds like. So it sounds a little fuller. I'm gonna go through and just kind of experiment around with the timings, velocities, and all that. I'll just show y'all what I come up with afterwards. Actually, what I'm gonna do is go to the brass and put some boost on it, and I'll lower it in the mixer track. And now what I want to do is take all my drum sounds and route it to the mixer track, route both of these 808s to the same track. I'm just going to go through and level it out pretty quickly. All right, one last thing that I want to do is I'm just going to go through and add some simple hi-hat rolls. So I'm going to go up to the magnet here, go to 1/3 step, and I'll probably start with a roll right here. And one last thing I want to do is take this crash from the intro and I kind of want to incorporate it into this over here. Copy this down and cut it right about here. And then I'm going to move this over here somewhere. Go to extract stems. Do the same thing I did with the other drum and just extract the drum sounds. And so now I got this crash. I'm going to make this crash a lot higher pitched. I'm going to try like 600-700. So I'm gonna route that to track 8. All right, so I think we got pretty much everything we need. I'm just gonna go through and do a super basic arrangement on this. We'll go and take care of the intro, and that'll probably be the rest of the Cookup. All right, that's pretty good. And I'm pretty much just gonna loop this over and over again, and that'll probably be it for the arrangement. Maybe I'll go through and just take some of the sounds out. Like I'll go here, take the open hat out here, the snare here, the kick. And then same thing, just go here, duplicate it all over. And I think we pretty much have the final arrangement. It's pretty straightforward. It looks like it's a lot, but that's just because we have all these little sample chops. So now to go take care of the intro, what I want to do is time stretch this so that it's something like this. And so I'm gonna drop it out at 13 because this is where we want our beat to come in. So it'll be something like this. It'll lead into it. So I'm just gonna test to see if I need to fade anything in, add any transitions and all that. That's cool, but it's kind of sudden, so I'm gonna fade it out a little bit. And what I think I wanna do is take one of those snare sounds that I used earlier and put in a little snare roll using the same thing. So go up to the magnet and use the 1/3 beat snap to grid and just pencil something in. The last thing I want to do is throw in this reverse bass type of thing. I want to drag in the same 808 sound that I've been using. And what I'm going to do is reverse it and line up a transient like this. Okay, something like that. And what I want to do is set it to about this length or so. And I'm going to open this and pitch it up +2. And so now I'm going to change this to stretch, and then I'm going to go up to the pitch, change the range to 12 and put it up an octave. So now it should be a higher octave D, and fade it in a little bit more. And then now what I want to do is automate this pitch so that it does something like this. select this one measure here, and then go back up to here, right click on the pitch and hit create automation clip. And so I'm gonna move this up so it's a little easier to see it. I'm gonna go to the endpoint, right click on it, go to type in value, put 0.5. So if I move the cursor all the way to the end, we go back to the audio clip menu, you can see that the pitch is back in the middle. So now it'll sound something like this. Alright, so I'm just going to throw down my tag. I'll do the outro real quick, and then y'all hear the final beat after that. Alright, so I appreciate y'all watching all the way to the end. If you're interested in using any of the drum sounds that I used, that kit will be the first link in the description. And that's going to wrap it up for this one, so here's the final beat.
Roll up, Tez.